on that note, I think we'll probably wrap up.
Yeah, man, we've been at it for a cool minute. I think we touched on some pretty awesome stuff. Cameron, did you have anything else you want to rip,
What's your
man?
thoughts on aliens, guys? Hey, cheers, man.
Here's one of our good buds,
Brother.
Mr. James,
CamoJames on
in
the
the
set.
stew tonight. What a fucking treat, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here, guys. I really appreciate the opportunity and to sit down and just shoot the shit and have some fun, man.
Hell yeah. So we haven't seen each other in a while. I think I might have maybe seen you at the shop once.
Yeah, something like that. I think I probably came in there to get a vape or something.
But we did go to school together. And
Yep.
I rememmer even like kindergarten, dude. Like,
Yeah,
I just
dude.
remember that
Yeah,
specifically.
kindergarten especially, bro.
Yeah,
like
bro.
all the way back.
Yeah. At like the old RGS, I think.
Yeah, back to grade school.
Yeah.
Yeah, the school that isn't even there anymore.
Yeah, it's a ghost town now, man.
That kind of messes me up, bro, when I think about it.
Mhm.
Like, my friend Natalie, you probably know her. She lived right next to it, or her family did.
Oh, yeah?
And she, like, put it up on Snapchat a couple years ago when they're knocking it down. And I'm like, what? No way. This is crazy. Because I always had these ambitions to, like, sneak into there and check it out. And I just remember the basement was like SeaWorld and stuff. And,
Yeah,
you know, when we
dude.
were little kids, everything
Yeah.
felt huge and, like...
Dude, I swear that place was haunted, man. Because I remember, like, walking around there as a kid and like, this place is crazy. Like, it's really, like, spooky in a way. Like, it's
had
like,
a vibe.
haunting vibe, yeah.
Yo,
We
that
got
would've
over
been-
historical shit.
That would have been a good place to sneak in and do a music video.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Oh, that would have been sick.
That
Yeah,
would have
man.
been killer. But yeah, man, that's a weird one, you know, because when you're a kid, you don't think about shit like that. Everything just seems normal to you. And then to look back and it's like, man, maybe there was something goofy about that place, or, you know, maybe you were picking up on it and we were just head ass little 5-year-old kids not thinking about it or
Yeah.
whatever. But I always know I wanted to sneak back, and now
It's gone.
Now it's a
She
dirt
gone.
patch.
R.I.P.
she gone. And then you drive by the dome's gone too, which I'm amazed how long that lasted. Like, you
I'm
guys,
surprised it never popped. Like,
Yeah.
with all like the balls that got kicked up to the ceiling. Or
Oh,
anything
yeah, or
stupid.
some
kid throwing
some dumb
stupid
kids
shit.
just
Yeah.
They poked it a couple times and it like deflated, but I don't think it ever like popped like all the way down. That would have been bad. But yeah, like we used to go to school together previously, and then I think you moved and then came back, or you switched schools or
Yeah,
something.
so like my background, like for my family, we moved around a lot all throughout. Like when I was a kid, up until I want to say like third grade. Then we moved to Roscoe. Then we stayed in Roscoe indefinitely until I moved out when I was older.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
What kind of places did you move to, like out of state?
So yeah, when I was just turned 21, I met my wife, and she moved to New York City. So I sold everything and decided to pack my bags and follow her along this journey and see what life has ahead of me.
Damn.
So that's what I did, and like a year and a half later, we found out we're having a kid, and so we had to move back here and reground and regroup, figure out some new things that we're gonna do in life, and keep on pushing forward. And here I am, man.
absolutely.
I was New
Life
York.
happens. Dude, I love New York, man. Brooklyn. I lived in Brooklyn, so I lived on 411 Hart Street. It was right off of the J train on like Myrtle Ave and Broadway. So it was like the spot where like all the crazy shit was happening down all the time at any time of the night. Really cool, to where you can literally wake up and go out and do anything you want that day. Like the world was yours. Hop on the train, go over to Manhattan, or go to like Coney Island or whatever, man, Hoboken. It was a really good vibe, but it sucks that it was so expensive. You had to have a lot of money to live there, straight up.
How much, like for like a 1-bedroom or 2-bedroom? We're talking.
I want to say my wife and I were paying like $1,000 a month for a room.
Damn.
And you had to like live with other people. So it was kind of weird, but it wasn't that bad. Like most of the people that we lived with were like really chill, but there was some other people that weren't that chill. You had to live with them and try to avoid them living in the same place. It was kind of odd and awkward, but I don't know. It's not bad, man. And when you live in New York, you just bite the bullet and you just want to live there. You don't really care about where you live.
Right.
You
You
know?
just want to be in the city
Yeah.
and be able to experience all the incredible things that I'm sure it has to offer. That's pretty rad.
It seems like one of those things you should like do once, at least, like live in a big city.
Yeah.
Like do it once in your life just to get a feel. You know.
Yeah, it's definitely like it's definitely the city that never sleeps, man. Like
Yeah.
any time of night, you can see people out doing shit. I don't know about now with COVID and everything because things have changed, but back then. And in 2017, it was popping. It was really cool.
Yeah,
Good
COVID
vibe.
wrecked New York more than most cities for sure, and like
Oh,
by the amount
yeah.
of people there, but then
Oh,
also like the
dude.
nightlife and shit like that. Like,
Because everything is just so congested and like just packed in. Like when you're on a subway or something, it's packed, bro. Like you're elbow to elbow with people. And
That talk about
that's
super spreader material.
Yeah, straight up. That's like a big germ cessing pool right there, ready for just to take over.
That's what is so interesting about COVID, man, is that it's put a lot of light on all the different types of things like that a lot of people, society in general just didn't seem to pay attention to
Yeah,
before.
took for granted in a way.
That too, big time. Yeah, it's been a wild ride.
then you like from even like a business owner perspective, you look at something like Roscoe that has like I don't know, let's say 30 businesses, and a lot of people go to Rockford to do stuff. It doesn't have a nightlife.
Yeah.
And then something like New York where they depend on the nightlife and tourism and all that. So like, yeah, the businesses got decimated. And then like beyond even people just getting sick from COVID, like the industry.
Yeah, everything just got decimated for a while. And I honestly feel like things are starting to bounce back in all shapes and forms. But I mean, it's just going to take time. I mean, it's something that hit us that we didn't know what it was. I'm not really a conspiracy theorist, but I don't really get into like the aspect of like if it's real or if it's not. It is what it is, and we just gotta accept it because like one person can't change it. Like we can't change it. There's nothing we can do. We just gotta face the fact this is how we're living now and just make the best of it, man. Just keep
Yeah,
pushing
it's
forward. But you
a
can't
new
let it
reality.
stop you or hinder you.
Right.
Right.
You still gotta chase after what you're trying to get to, and just really make the most of it. There's no time like the present, nonetheless. Even if we have this disease going around, we've got to find a way to progress. And I agree with you. I think a lot of stuff is bouncing back, and we're getting closer to like that 70% vaccination mark, which I think is good overall. But yeah, I mean, that's just a lot to keep up on. And man, you see like the worst of people through it, to be honest. That's one thing that I've noticed. Or you just see different sides of people, and it's opened people's minds up like more politically, and where they fall and what they think is acceptable, and how business oriented they are as an individual, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So it goes along with some of those insights.
Yeah. If it was like a test of like, you see people's true colors, I feel like I don't want to say failed, but we got like a D,
Right.
Like you saw some people coming together and there's some really cool stuff. People like, sharing masks or, helping out small businesses, however it came to be. But largely there was a lot more division than there should have been.
Yeah.
Than like the coming together part. But yeah, we learned.
I just feel like I feel like the world kind of needed like a little wake up call for a second, because we were all running and gunning for so long, just like every year, every single day, just nonstop work. And then that has been stripped from society for a while to where now like people don't have work, or they lost jobs or businesses or whatever that case may be. But it's kind of like we were saying earlier, that we took it for granted to where like this life is not permanent. Like nothing's really permanent. Like it's living in the present and it's moving, but at the same time, like it doesn't last forever. So that's why I feel like we just really have to enjoy every day and every moment as much as we possibly can.
Yep.
Absolutely. And then I think back about like some of the opportunities that everybody realistically had before COVID, and it's like, man, it's so easy to take those for granted, and you really shouldn't. I used to kind of be like, man, why are all these people partying all the time before COVID? Like we were talking earlier, like some people really need to get their shit together. And now I'm kind of like, you know what? Good on them for celebrating, man. Like I kind of wish that like I had celebrated more when
Let them
like
live.
Right.
Yeah, you live once, man.
Absolutely.
And that's just not like some corny like mantra of YOLO. Like it's straight serious talk. Like you literally live once, unless like you're reincarnated or whatever your religious beliefs may be.
Right.
But I don't know, man.
Yeah, that's kind of where my headspace is at. This is it, baby.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I just look at it as like, all right, now I see things for what they are and like what can be taken from you. So I just want to execute whatever I possibly can that like my dreams are and aspirations, and just go at it like full force, and just and every single day just take the steps that I need to take to be able to get to the goal that I'm trying to reach. So that's when we were talking earlier about like life and like where we're at and like what you can do in manifestation and everything like that. And I feel like just in general, I just took the risk of just starting my own business. And I was like, all right, I'm going to just take this risk. I'm going to do it. I'm going to quit my full-time job, go to part-time. I'm going to see where this leads because I have a passion and I have dedication. And I know I work hard to be able to pull this off. And it's not like I'm looking at it as a business aspect. I generally enjoy filming and creating content and just giving something for people to enjoy, especially when they might not be so creative or they wish they could do stuff like that, and it might give them some inspiration or some motivation in some way or another. I definitely think
so. You know? Oh yeah, man. Especially with a lot of the stuff that you were showing us earlier in some of your newer videos, man. Like, I mean, the quality is just, it's there, man. And the creative aspect is super noteworthy as well, you know?
Yeah.
And then, you know, going along with that, that's one thing that I really like about videography is that you can collaborate and understand somebody's vision and then help them accomplish it and so on. You same with music, so on and so forth. And that's definitely the move. Like, it's never in our lifetimes, you know, that's going to be only more and more popular. So I think it's a good one to be into.
Well, we're living in a digital world. And we're moving forward into a digital world and to augmented reality. And that's the truth. No matter which way we look at it, we have to accept it because it's already here. The what's the saying? The genie's already out of the bottle, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Saying, you know?
And, you know, we're in like a weird point because, like, especially us, like, 90s kids, bro, like,
90s?
I talk about it a lot, and basically the gist of it, or my takeaway from it, is like technology has advanced way significantly faster in any regard than what most people can keep up with. You know, like think about just like say how much you know about videography, and then apply it to something you don't know about, and you know there's so much to know in any ballpark, and here general society is kind of stuck in this loop of like it's like in my mind it's like a pioneering age where things are getting sorted out. You know, from the 90s we were doing stuff that we look back and think is dumb now, you know, like dial-up internet, home phones,
AOL,
pagers, you know, like just it sounds laughable, bro. And like that's just since like when we were kids. Like we're not even old, bro. We're pretty young dudes, you know, and it's just so much changed so quickly, so rapidly.
Fast.
Yeah. And here we are trying to like pick our routes into those pioneering types of whatever it might be. You know, everybody's got to use technology these days, whether it's filing your taxes, creating videos, whatever, bro. So, you know, that's kind of where my headspace is at with a lot of things. And I find that it's relatable with almost any business, any topic, anything.
So since you brought up you like touched the iceberg on like what you do, you want to start with like the beginning of how you got started?
Dive in.
Oh
yeah,
of course, man. So beginning of 2020, right before COVID hit, I decided to, like I was saying, take that risk and try something new and step outside my comfort zone. And I was like, all right, I know how to film, I have a camera, what are the steps that I can do to make this happen? And then I just did a lot of research, a lot of YouTube, a lot of like figuring things out. And then over time, you just kind of learn on your own.
Yep.
But so I started a business that's a service. My business is CamoJames Films. And I came up with the name just because my name is CamoJames. And then Rose is my wife and my daughter's middle name. So that kind of just flew together. And I got 2 roses tattooed on my hand. So I don't know why I came up with that name. But anyway,
sounds good.
It makes all the sense.
CamoJames Films. Anyways, so I started that business. And I just started creating hella content, like filming anything I possibly can for all of that year. And most of it was free work just because I was trying to build that portfolio. And I needed to work as much as possible because that's how you learn. You have to be hands-on when you're filming. And you have to be out of your comfort zone in certain situations so that you know, like, wow, that was really uncomfortable for me. So now I know that I can go through another situation like that. So there's a lot of those ups and down moments of like, can I do this? Can I not do this? Am I even wasting my time? Or like, I'm making good content, but no one's really viewing it yet. And then I just always believed in myself and just kept pushing forward and having faith and just knew that one day this stuff's all going to pay off because I'm that dedicated and motivated behind my work, and my work ethic speaks for itself. So I just keep working, and my main content is just like promotion videos, music videos, filming pretty much anything that I possibly can. Something that's cool and artistic in a way that I can create a story.
So that like all that free content you said you were doing at the beginning of 2020, what was that mainly?
It was mainly music videos. I did some like live videos for like a couple of different artists from Madison, like live shows, filmed them and created a little like, promo video for them. And then I did one wedding for a buddy of mine, Nick Neighbor, and that kind of piqued my interest in doing weddings because it was fun and it's really intimate because that's someone's special day that they're like, you know, about to get married with somebody. So creating that video and getting that content and capturing those special moments, it's cool. It's really meaningful to me.
Yeah.
Absolutely, man. That sounds like a great ballpark to be in.
Yeah.
We were just talking the other day about, I think that doing weddings for videography would be very lucrative, but I also think it would be kind of scary with like the bridezilla aspect, and you have to get like these perfect moments.
Yeah.
It'd be a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Whether it's like for a DJ or videographer, photographer, wedding planner, you name it. But like, obviously you get paid while doing it. It just sounds like a lot of pressure, and it's something that I probably wouldn't want to do personally, you know, unless you know the guy.
Yeah, I mean,
That
when
could
you
be
know the person that you're filming for, it's a lot of pressure off your shoulders because you have that thought of like, if I mess up or something, it's like I'm not really gonna get like, you know, shit for it or anything like that.
He knows I'm doing my best.
Yeah, yeah. Versus a client who's like, they want this, this, and this, and this, and it has to be done perfect because they're paying top dollar for it.
Yeah.
And you
And then
can't
if
like
you can't
redo
execute
it.
that,
Right.
yeah.
It's a one and done.
It's a lot of pressure when it comes to filming. There's been most of the times when I'm filming on set for something big that I've never done before, I always had that thought in the back of my head of like, oh, man, this is really hard. Am I doing this right? Or am I fucking up? Or am I, you know, whatever. But then you push through it. You get through it like, okay, I thought I was doing bad, but I actually did good. This video came out really well. And now I know like you just can't second guess. You know, you got to keep pushing forward because if you second guess your work, that client's going to notice that you're second guessing your own work.
Right.
And they're not going to really want to work with you.
But it's still good to have that like being too hard on yourself mentality, so that way when you do go to like edit, you're like, okay, this shit is actually better than I thought it was.
Yeah.
Like, you know, because you push yourself to, you know, put the pressure on yourself.
Yeah. I always had to put the pressure on yourself.
Yeah.
Because that's how you become better. If you don't put the pressure on yourself, you just stay stagnant. You never climb. You just stay neutral. You know?
Yeah. It's definitely like one of the signs of success thing is like being self-critical.
Very self-critical is important for every aspect in life. You know, not just only like your business, just like the way you carry yourself and your mentality and your mindset.
Yeah.
You know,
Definitely.
day-to-day basis.
Did you ever like fuck anything up pretty bad that you would want to share that was like
While filming?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So actually, when
when
I first got this set up, it was like my first big project. So I was doing this place called Vibes Fitness. I was telling you about. It's downtown Chicago. It's like a fitness zone place. I don't know a whole lot of details behind it, but anyways, I filmed for them a promo video for their new facility that was opening up. And like the first 30 minutes of filming, I was like being kind of rushed. I'm like, are you ready yet? Are you ready yet? I'm like, no, the camera's not balanced yet. And I had to deal with that. And then I felt rushed. So I thought my camera and all my equipment was A1, like it was good to go. And I'm starting to film for like maybe 2 minutes. And I go to do a slight turn in a pan and my camera just whips around and starts going crazy with the gimbal. The motor started to like malfunction and shit because I didn't have it balanced right. So that was very embarrassing because I had everybody looking at me like, what's going on? And then like, are you okay? Are you filming? Like, what's happening? And then I was like, I had to like really quickly think like, all right, what can I do? Like I had to take this off and just rebalance that really fast and just go back in there and act like it didn't even happen. And I pulled it off and the video came out great.
Damn.
But yeah, it was nerve wracking, man. I thought I was going to lose the contract. I thought they were going to tell me to just take a walk.
Just get out of here,
yeah,
man.
like, hey man, I'm not digging your vibe.
Damn.
Hey, but that's part of the process, man.
Yeah.
You got to be able to roll with the punches, pick her back up, keep pushing, like you were just saying, man. And then next time around, you know, you gotta take away what you did and just make the most of it.
Learning from the mistakes.
How did you get that contract to begin with?
So basically, the contract is something that I create for myself through my business under CamoJames Films so that it protects me and the client as well. So it shows all the information of like how long I'm going to be filming, what day, the time, how much I'm being paid, and then the invoice that's attached to it. So everything's legal, 1099 form, all that stuff. So
How'd you get hooked up with these people though? Vibes?
It's just word of mouth. I do one video, then one person shows to another person, and then it just spreads like wildfire. Then people start hitting me up for videos, and it just takes off from there.
Perfect.
Yeah, man.
Like your videos that you put online are like your business card. You know,
Yeah,
someone's
it's a portfolio.
like, yeah, I know this Camo Rose guy is really good. Like, check out his
Yeah.
shit. It's on my phone.
Right there on IG or Facebook, whatever, social media.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's very it's just really quick action to be able to have that ability to do that, to be able to show someone like, hey, this is my work, versus like, hey, here's my business card. Go home. You're going to forget about me, but go home. You're going to go on to whatever website. You're going to type it in and you're going to look at it like, okay, was this really worth my time?
Yeah.
Versus right there, you see it right in front of your face and you're like, okay, I could definitely see its work.
Yeah.
I'm going to hit him up.
You got him or you don't, like right there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot about, especially in terms of video production, like, when you get it up to where you're comfortable with it and where you like the productions that you're working on and doing and able to do them in a relatively timely manner, then it's just a matter of the right time and place, you know, because you've got the right content. You just got to keep plugging it in. And like you said, man, it's a great one to be into because, you know, it's a portable business card. It's back to that digital world stuff we were talking about, man. So anybody can check you out anytime off any phone, realistically.
Yeah, it's really it's so simple. Like on set, like if I'm like working with a client and someone's like on the side watching me film, like, hey, do you like have a business card or something? And you can like, actually there's a feature on your phone to where you can tap their phone and like it'll pop up like a eye scan or whatever, same kind of Snapchat code, and it'll show you IG, and right then and there they can follow you.
Yeah.
So that's very convenient.
Definitely.
It's nice to have that ability.
Especially when you're working on digital content.
So before you started, recently you were doing music, you said, for probably what, 10 years? 8 years?
Yeah. So I started doing music when I was like 15, 16, somewhere around there. I got into it. I've always been influenced by music. I've always like, music is kind of like my drug. It keeps me alive. I love listening to like a certain song on a certain day, a certain time of the day, like the weather, the vibe.
Yep.
It all is connected in some way or another. But I got into music and I started like learning how the process works of like recording yourself, learning how to write material, learning how to have a good direct, when you're like using your vocals properly, your delivery, and learning like all the aspects when it comes to engineering with music. So that all takes years, and so
which is insanely in depth.
It's a lot,
insane,
a lot into it, man.
Like that's where I've been really diving into here in the past probably 6 months to a year or so, just based off of where things were at with the Sham Show originally. Which, I mean, you want to talk about goofing up, man, or putting out some wonky videos. Although we had some wonkers for sure.
Some wonkers.
But you know, like I feel like I've done a good job and I understand audio production a lot better now than I ever have. And now I'm trying to like catch up on some of the videography aspects and then of course integrate them in a lot of the ways that you're doing for a lot of your people, man, which like some of those like that one you just showed us, it's not out yet, dude. That is a fantastic video, bro.
Thank
like
you. I really appreciate
that. Is
that's what the new,
like realistically I can't imagine it being much higher quality without it being like a Marvel movie or something, you know, like literally.
Can you say who that was?
Yeah, so that's Nino Cruz. He's a local Rockford artist who I think he came out a couple years ago or something like that, but he has a few really good videos out on YouTube and all his major platforms, and I produced and directed and filmed his last video that he did. It's called Joker, and that's out right now on YouTube, that we did back in, I think, November. Okay. So that's at like 10,000 views or something like that. Yeah,
nice.
So numbers are starting to grow.
Absolutely.
People starting to recognize.
Yeah. You get up into a few thousand views like that, man. It's like people are so sheepily that they almost have to see that before they can really like fanboy on and step out a little bit. So yeah, it's good to keep that ball rolling, man. I'm hoping that you guys get some good traction with that. Going along with that, what's up with 608 Trace, man? That's an artist that I've seen on, because I follow you on Insta and Facebook, and I see some of his stuff, and looks like he has some pretty cool stuff out there too.
Yeah, man.
So how did you go about linking up with like musicians and artists and so on and so forth?
So most of the people that I work with now are like the people who I hit up originally when I was trying to get work and working for free when I first started filming and everything. So I hit him up like almost 2 years ago, something like that. Like, hey man, I'm a new videographer. I appreciate your work. Like, I see your movement. I'm like really behind it. I want to come out and film something for you for free. And we did that. We shot a music video, and it dropped like I think 6 or 7 months later because it's just the whole political aspect of like putting together a project and having everything in timely manner, and then like putting it out. But anyways, like just different artists like that I just linked up with, and then those are the guys who I just work with on occasion and on basis out of Madison. We have 608 Trays, Tas Raw, Matt Nimitz, people like that who are really doing their thing out there. So
Yeah.
shout out to Madison and Mad Love out there, man. They're doing their thing.
Yeah, no, it's pretty apparent when you check out some of your work that they've got some pretty cool shit going on up there.
Making the movement, dude. 608 Trace, he's got his things going, and I think he has a video dropping tomorrow for 420, so make sure you guys watch that as well.
Yep.
Should be pretty dope.
Seen that. That's a good one.
Kurt's in a project called Hef and the E-Boys,
Yeah.
and they have a video coming out tomorrow as well.
Well,
So you do
it's just a
music as
song
well?
release. Yeah.
You really?
So I have for a long time, but I haven't gotten into basically like I play guitar, and I've been jamming for a long time with my buddy Hef, who plays drums, and kind of more recently in the past few years keyboard.
Nice.
And so going along with the production and stuff, I got really pretty balls deep into recording, and I've amassed like a pretty fat collection of guitars and just audio equipment over the years, and finally decided to put the wheels to it. So yeah, we're actually putting our first single out tomorrow. It's called Champagne.
Yeah?
It's like a kind of like a pop emo rock type of vibe.
Okay.
But kind of like just for the background. So like me and Hef, like I said, we've been jamming for a long time, and he within the last year or so started doing vocals, which is something where like we never really had a solid vocalist to work around or like put relatable content through.
Yeah.
So he put out some of his own material, and we've got a lot of songs lined up. We've got a whole full-length album like fully written and composed, ready to go. But the songs we're putting out now are like separate from that. They're kind of more like simpler, easier songs where I've gotten basically like my full test chops at really putting music together, and I'm pretty happy with where they're at.
Nice,
so
dude.
definitely give them a check-ins out tomorrow as
for
well.
Sure, bro. I'll be vibing to that.
And going along with that, I think it would be pretty badass to have you do a video for us in the near future.
Of course,
because after the 4-song EP's out, I want to drop a single off of the full-length album. So
That'd
I'll
be
be
sick,
hollering
dude.
at you sooner rather than later. That's
Of
for
course,
sure.
man.
They're fun, like, yeah, it's a fun song. It's not like super hard or anything, and it's a lot about like Hef's
He
previous
makes-
love interests.
He makes his life an open book, and he's kind of a head ass in his own way with
Yeah.
women, and kind of the punky, like always flopping with them type of vibes and that type of stuff. So it's a pretty good dynamic,
Nice.
and open ended as far as the types of, like, I'd say it all sounds similar, definitely similar, like enough to be coherent, but it covers a pretty good amount of ground.
Nice, man. I'm excited to hear that.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
We'll give it a little listen through after the set here if you want. But
Of
I mean,
course.
it'll be out tomorrow either way. So
What's like your favorite video that you've done? Is that like the Nino one recently?
Well, I don't know, man. I don't really ever have like a favorite video or anything, or like a favorite project. Like I was saying earlier, like I have kind of created this mindset of like posting and ghosting, because if you think about it, our brains, you can only think about and have so much on your mind per day. It's like a hard drive. Once it's full, it's full. So I try to keep shit that like I don't really need to think about outside of that and then I have more focus and more energy to focus on the things that I need to get done that day.
I think like that all the time, bro.
But I mean, I do like the video I just showed you guys a lot, just because I had full range of the creative aspect of doing whatever I wanted with it, but staying in the range of the vibe of the song.
Definitely.
But it came out really well. I'm excited about it, and I still blow myself away every time I finish watching a project. I'm like, wow, I did it. I didn't realize I could do it, and then it's like, now I can't wait to see what I can do next.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's what's so cool about being a creator, man, is like you can understand it in your head, but then when you actually create it, there's like that it's like you're on the other side looking back at it almost. So I definitely get where you're coming from with like the put it out there and then move on to something new type of mindset that you were saying that you have going on as well.
Those are like two great tips, just to like kind of recap some of the stuff you were saying, like the how you got into it and the doing like the free work for a year thing.
Yeah.
I really respect and value that a lot. And I think that's something that a lot of people could learn to do.
Because you're ensuring that you're doing it right.
And people kind of overvalue themselves and their work a lot of times, and they'll say like, no, I'm not doing this for free because even if they went to school for it, like I went to art school or videography or like, I've put this work in or I've gotten this piece of equipment, but it's like realistically you just need to put out some content. You need to humble yourself and build your portfolio. And like if someone reached out to me and was like, yo, can I do this video for you for your business and it's going to be $500, it's probably going to be a no. But if they're like, I'm going to do it for free, then it's probably going to be a yeah. And
right.
we'll
like
use you in the future.
It's kind of a tough point where it's like, as a new videographer, it can be applied anywhere, but it's either like if you're going to go after some bigger clients, then you've got to have that resume, like you're saying, and that portfolio and something to show for yourself. If you're going to be like, yeah, it's going to be, 500,000, whatever grand, whatever you're charging for what it is. Then you've got to have the craftsmanship to back that. So getting from like a start point to there, that's kind of like the Wild West. You've got to get in where you fit in and do some pretty sound networking and throw the content out there, man.
Yeah, one of the big things too is like clients don't really care what gear you have. Like,
no,
they care about what you're going to create for them. What is the outcome going to be?
Right.
Show me that end result. Don't show up with this $100,000 camera or whatever the case may be.
People understand
the end result's like dog shit, and it's like, no. And I paid all this money and it's dog shit. I could have did it for a fraction of the price with a camera that costs a fraction of it, and you're gonna get a better video. You
don't care how the sausage is made as long as it's good sausage.
Exactly, dude.
100%.
Exactly.
The other tip I really liked was like the post and ghost concept, where like don't get caught up on your previous work. Unless you're learning from it, you have to keep in mind where you're at and where you want to be, but don't like wait for people's reactions and like fester upon some shit you already put out. Just move on to the next thing and keep putting out content.
It's almost like that kind of goes along with like society and how fast paced everything's at. There's so much high quality content out there that like
people will forget.
You've got to roll with the punches, and like almost like I feel like maybe 30, 40, 50 years ago, people had like a masterpiece mindset where they're like, everything's got to be fucking perfect for this particular project or whatever it might be. Like, I'm kind of like thinking of like the Pink Floyd, like Dark Side of the Moon album. Like, it's an absolute undeniable masterpiece. And nowadays, it's like, you've got to be high quality, but you also have to be consistent and
we need one of those
timely.
a month now.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
It's not gonna last a decade.
Which honestly like sucks from the creator's point of view, but simultaneously I think pushes a lot of people to do better faster, which is what it's all about.
So since I started filming in my portfolio, I think I have like 35 videos, not including like other little snippets that I created that aren't in the portfolio or whatever. And that's in 2-year time frame. So if you break down the numbers of how many videos that is per month in 2 years, 24 months, that's how much work it takes to get you to where you got to go. And I'm not even near where I want to be at.
Yeah.
I
And
mean,
you're still not doing it full time. You're still juggling
No.
all this other shit.
So even that whole year of me working 2020, starting my business, I was still working a full-time job and still being a dad and still being a husband and still trying to provide for my family and balance everything out. And balance is key, but you can never really get a perfect balance because life is so unpredictable. Your next day can change for what you plan for, you know?
Absolutely.
So, yeah, I mean, I worked that year full time and now I'm part time. I worked myself into a window to where I could take that risk and be like, all right, I got this window. I'm gonna make this happen. I'm gonna be dedicated and motivated. I'm gonna get the job done. And I just did that, and then it's been just pushing forward ever since. And I don't really look back. I just keep pushing forward, like we were saying.
How do you price like a music video?
So it just based off like what the video is, like what it's going to be. Like if it's like a promotion video for like a new restaurant opening up and like a 30-second little highlight reel or like a 1 minute reel, it just bases off that how much time I'm going to be there filming, how long it's going to take me to edit. But like I was saying earlier, like my editing time is getting quicker and quicker because I'm learning new tricks, and that just comes with, you know, years of experience. But it just bases on what the project is. Like if it's just a basic music video, it's, you know, base price of whatever, plus like if I'm traveling a far distance for like a studio production setup with like green lights and green screen and shit like that, or whatever the case may be, then you have to charge a little bit differently. But it just varies, man.
You tell them the price beforehand.
Yeah. Yep.
So what if like they shoot something and they want to change stuff and like you to edit some extra shit in, whatever it is, that you just have
so that usually
discussion?
we usually just like work that out the day of or whatever, unless I have a contract made with that client, and then like whatever the contract says, like we have to go off that contract because we both signed it legally. So like if like for example, I'm filming a 4 football game session to create a highlight reel for this client, and I had to be there all 4 of those days. But like if it rained on one of those days and like it stormed, I wasn't able to film. That's out of my hands. That's, you know, natural hazard type of thing. So stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah.
So pretty much cover your ass going into it as much as you can.
And legally as well. Like I want to be able to make sure I'm paying my taxes and like everything's done legally. You know, I want to be a legit business versus like, oh, I know a camera guy. Like he does this and that, the other. Like he'll charge this price. Like, no, I want to be legit. Down the road, have an actual full-on production team, like a traveling van and all that sorts of shit.
Yeah, we've had a lot of friends with like really small, like out of their house businesses that have kind of like refused to grow because they don't want to pay taxes or they don't want to get insurance for it, or you know, whatever the case is. And it's like, well, you're only holding yourself back.
Yeah.
You have to take that step eventually.
Of course.
And then
right, it's
even
pay
if
to play.
With all these extra costs, you break even for a month, 2 months, half a year. That's the only way you're going to get to that next step. You know, you're going to have to become legit at some point.
You got to take the risk and you got to invest money to make money. That's the way it goes. Like if you have $5,000 sitting there and you don't do nothing with it, you're going to have $5,000 sitting there.
Yep.
If you take half that $5,000, you got $2,500. You can invest in that and double that. And then now you have $7,500, you know?
It's the only way it works.
Absolutely, man. You got to toss it around and you got to invest, man. It matters what it is, but bottom line, you've got to take your capital and you've got to put it into something, and you've got to grow, or else it's just gonna remain the same. Like we were talking earlier, man. You know, there's a lot of people that are kind of really stuck in that loop. You know, where they just don't know how to manage their money, or have like the lack of aspirations, don't know where to go, do with it, etc.
No motivation.
You know, whoring out excuses left and right. Oh, I don't have enough money to do this or that. Like,
you got enough to start something, to build something, to get the step, you know, step onto the next step, onto the next. I was going to say, how much do you value YouTube, man? Like, you've probably learned a lot of your stuff off YouTube. It's not like you went to school for this.
YouTube is my go-to. Like, a big shout out to YouTube, man, because there's so many creators and people on there that make content that are tools. And they're available for you. You just got to search them. You got to know what to do with those tools.
And when you find good ones, man, like, you know their shit's pat, dude.
Yeah, I got where I'm at just like off of YouTube, learning how to do certain things. Like if I'm editing a certain like cut, I want to be able to like replace the sky or something. Like I had to learn how to mask and then layer and then Luma keys and all this different types of shit.
All the information's out there.
Yeah,
like,
you just got to get it. You got to access it. You got to go to it. It's not going to come to you.
Right.
Like the money, you have to go get it. It's not going to come to you. Like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You're going to have to search for it.
I feel like YouTube and video learning is the future and could even go as far as to replace public education.
Oh, 100%. But at the same time, like, I have a kid. I have a 3-year-old daughter. I did not let her watch any TV or any like iPhones, iPads, none of that shit for a long time until maybe like like beginning of 2020, like when COVID hit, because we were
Okay.
stuck inside.
Right.
And so I had to like bite the bullet, like, okay, like what can we do with this that's going to be somewhat educational? So there is some educational programs out there, but it has to be in moderately used. Like you can't just let her watch it all day, like for school, like certain time frames or
Dude, I love
like
that so much, bro,
no
because
phone
so
time,
many of
none of
these
that shit,
parents
dude.
out here are just laying on the full smut on their kids just because they don't know what to do with their kids.
You go to
man.
restaurants, what do you see? You look in there, you see glowing faces and kids not even knowing where they're at or what they're doing. They don't care what they're eating. They just all they care about is what's in front of them with that tablet.
Yeah,
And people on their phones in general, like I feel like society itself needs to really recognize that and like take that step of like, okay, I'm looking at this phone all fucking day. Look at your screen time. It tells you how much you're on your phone all fucking day. And if you realize how much time you're spending on that, what could you have done with that time differently that you can make your life better versus wasting that time staring and scrolling with your thumb,
Peering
getting
into-
carpal tunnel like a dummy, like you know what
Yep,
I'm saying?
absolutely, dude. So I think that's awesome that you're starting her off with a more forward mindset. You know, like
Yeah,
you've got to find that balance, man. Like you said earlier, where you've got to be able to discern the useful stuff and not just sit there wasting time
of
watching
course.
useless content, which there's a ton of stuff, and especially for kids, like there's so much stuff that I swear it's made for like those parents that are like, oh, I don't know what to do with my kid, like, here, watch this and leave me alone.
Yeah, it's sad, man. That's just a broken person raising a broken person kind of
Right.
thing, you know?
Yeah, and
That's not
that's the
good.
heart of the problem, because it perpetuates itself then,
Yeah.
like hopefully that kid can jump out of that loop, but man, you would make a lot better of an impact being a better role model and being a better role model accordingly from a younger age.
Yeah.
Like parents matter big time,
Oh
man.
yeah, dude. I mean, that's what is the set in stone for the future of our planet is what the previous parent is doing that day for that kid that's gonna be older in the future that's gonna be doing something different in this world.
Right,
You know?
and the future is quick, man.
It's gonna come
That's
fast.
15
Always
years tops, even if your kid's real young.
Yeah. I mean, the only advice I get to any kind of parents out there who do have kids is like you can't just take the easy route to like here's a phone or here is a tablet or here's a TV because you got this and this and this to do. Like I am a busy person, but I try to cordially split my time in a balanced way to where like, okay, I know I have this amount of stuff I gotta do today, but I'm gonna make sure that I spend this amount of time with my kid. And then in between that, like it's a balance. So one of the biggest things I do with my kid is just taking her outside, playing in the yard, simple shit, looking for bugs, looking for snakes, like just the easy shit that we used to do when we were kids because we didn't have phones, you know?
Right. Like
And
we had-
she enjoys nature so much, and she has a different outlook on it because she's experienced it versus like watching it on a screen, you know?
Yeah. No, that's way better in my opinion, man.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want another drink?
Of course, man. I love another drink.
Man, it's great to touch on some of those points, man, because I think about a lot of that same stuff so frequently, and it's like really refreshing to hear it from a parent's point of view.
Yeah.
Really helps to like kind of reinforce some of it.
Thank you, sir. Sure. Being a parent is like one of the hardest but kind of easiest things that you can do because it's not that hard, but it is very hard at the same time because if you fuck up, that kid is going to be fucked up. You know what I'm saying?
Yep, you can definitely do it wrong. Like
Right.
there's no perfect way to do it right,
No.
but you can definitely do things that are hella wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Whether
But yeah,
it's
man.
I mean, just exposing them to this, that, or the other thing, or throwing them on the laptop too long, or the iPad, or whatever it is.
One of the cool things about being a parent is like watching your kid grow and like learning how to speak properly, and like every week it's like she's learning something new. So I'm like, always experiencing that every single day, and it's really cool. And then one of the biggest things is she's obsessed with my music and then obsessed with videos that I create.
Really?
Like she's obsessed. Like every day she's like, can I watch a music video, or can I watch this, or can I watch my birthday video? Like I create content for her as well.
Damn.
Yeah,
And,
I've seen some of those.
She
are
loves
rad.
to just sit there and she admires it because she knows that I'm creating it. She sees what I'm doing, and it's like I'm not letting her just watch some bullshit. It's like she's watching something that I created and that she enjoys. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
That's
She's
a
like-
much
It's really
better.
cool. Yeah, dude,
It's a
she's the
much
biggest
better
fan.
lens for I think young people to observe from, you know, because then I think a lot of these kids like, and not even just kids, just people in general, they look at amazing content and they take it so far for granted it's ridiculous.
Oh, I know.
You know, and that's why it's hard to be a content creator too, because like the standards are through the roof with
Yeah.
you know publication on all these major networks and platforms, and the internet's only just blowing that out of proportion too.
People
so
never
it's
think about where it came from. how
exactly
it was
and what
made.
goes into it. You know, it's you can look at it and just be like, oh, it's just an episode of SpongeBob, but it's like, dude, imagine creating that. Like that's insane.
Yeah.
All the
So
work that goes into it behind doors. Nobody, for whatever, if you're like a painter or a carpenter or you're a musician or whatever, like no one really ever generally sees like what goes on behind the doors, all that hard work it actually takes to get to where you're at. Like when you see someone driving like a nice car or something, or living in a nice house, like some people have the mentality of like, oh, it must be nice.
yep.
Like it
A
must
lot
be
of
nice to be that guy, but then you have to think differently. You have to flip it on yourself. Like, okay, that guy worked his ass off. What can I do? That's motivation. What can I do to do something like that to get myself to that position?
Yep.
Because anything in this life is possible. You just have to act on it, and you have to grind every single day. There is no days off unless you're sick or you're injured.
Right. Yeah. Hey, you should explain what this thing is.
All right, so right here we got sitting the new and latest, greatest. I don't really know exactly how to pronounce it the proper way, but some people say Zion or Zion or June Crane. It's the Crane S3, so it's a stabilizer and gimbal system. It's a 3-axis motor to where it stabilizes my camera when I'm filming and I'm getting those nice cinematic pans or the nice close-up shots or running or whatever the case may be, whatever I'm doing for the production that day. But I have it set up with a Field World 4K monitor and a dual battery pack system and a Canon Mark D5 with a L24 to 70 millimeter lens. The whole cinematic package to get all the content and film the proper stuff that you need to get the job done.
Yeah, what other stuff do you need, like on a set, if you were to go film anything? What other stuff would you need besides that?
Well, lighting is key, man. Lighting is 90% of it. So like you always have to scope out the location or wherever you're going to be filming and stuff, usually beforehand, unless you've already been there, so that you know like what the lighting is going to look like, what you need to bring. So I always bring everything I have with me just in case I need it. I'm right now a one-man army, so I'm directing, I'm filming, and I'm editing, and then I push all the content out. So I have to make sure that I'm doing everything in order to get the content that I'm getting for this client and for myself, for my portfolio.
What do you bring for lighting?
I have a little handheld multi-color changer light that has different filter settings on it. And then I have 2 regular amp box setups for the tripod for this regular base light. And there's a couple of different reflectors. But most of the time, like when you're doing music videos and stuff, it's usually on a different kind of set or outdoors or something like that. So I usually don't need those type of production setup lights.
makes sense.
It just all entires into like what the scene is and what actually is the video, like what's going on, you know?
What else do you need then? So you got that set up, you have lighting.
Yeah, a lot of batteries, and making sure all your batteries are charged constantly, because anytime you're shooting 4K in that res, it sucks the juice down on whatever camera system or anything you're using because it's such high quality. So you have to make sure you're using high voltage batteries in a nice dual pack to where everything lasts long when you're filming on set for a couple hours.
Yeah, you were saying your batteries last like 8 hours.
Yeah, it typically lasts like 8 hours when I'm using the gimbal and the camera system for it. But I mean, it does a job. I've never really had it die on me. So I mean, I charge it up and it lasts for however long I need it to.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure like it tells you where your battery's at, but I can't imagine like being in the middle of some deep shit and like
Yeah.
your battery goes out. Like that's
No,
gotta be
because that just comes with trial and error, man. Of like over the years of doing it, you just learn to never let that happen. So like
Right.
when you see your battery getting a certain life, you know when to change it properly at the right time in the right spot.
yeah.
And then like in between cuts or scenes or whatever,
It's like your car running out of gas.
yeah, you gotta change it. You gotta make sure it's ready to rock.
Absolutely, man. Sounds like you got everything covered, dude, to be honest. Like,
So far, man, I got a really good setup, and I'm really blessed and thankful to have the stuff and the equipment that I have, and just to keep pursuing this dream and with passion, and not giving up and not letting anybody hinder my mindset or tell me it's not possible or you can't do it or how you're gonna do it or whatever the case may be.
yeah, fuck all the haters,
You can never
man.
let somebody tell you what you cannot do. You gotta show people what you can do, because anytime you let somebody tell you what you can't do, it kind of fucks with you mentally if you're not a strong enough minded person. And then that can like destroy the rest of your future because you let one person tell you that you couldn't do something.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
Usually
I
that,
live
like,
by that.
motivates-
Like I don't give a fuck what anybody says. I just do me, but on a respectful manner.
Right.
You know?
Absolutely.
Not like fuck you. Like you know, it's not like hey man, like you can say what you want, bro. I'm still doing me. You know what I'm saying?
Usually that motivates me to do it. You know, if someone says that I can't, usually I'm more likely to try and do it.
Fuck yeah, dude. I love proving people wrong. It's like
Right.
you told me I couldn't do this. Now look at me.
Yeah.
And that's not no ego. That's just the truth and the facts.
You feel
Right.
stupid now.
Yeah.
No, that's a great mindset to have, man. I mean, it's definitely true. I think a lot of people get bogged down by those negative thoughts
Yeah.
and they never rebound, bro. Like they're stuck in their own loop, and then they get into like the buzzword is victim mentality about it,
Yep.
where they feel that they just never had the right looks or whatever it is,
Yeah.
you know. So
Just beat themselves up, and it's never a good thing, because what you're doing is you're wasting time and you're wasting valuable energy that you could be using to make yourself a better person and to push yourself forward out of the muck, because that's gonna make you a stronger person. You know,
Yeah.
you have to be able to go through the hardship to understand what the good ship is. Like it's just saying that like you're not gonna appreciate the sun unless it rains.
right,
You know?
Mm-hmm.
Because
that makes sense for sure.
you had to have the hardship to be able to get to the good shit straight up.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to understand what it feels like. If you always have good days and you have one bad day, that bad day is going to feel like hell for you. And if you have a decently bumpy road through life of like a bumpy wave of up and downs, you're going to cordially stay like in a neutral spot where like you can handle things
Yeah,
properly mentally.
right. And then you can maintain your balance through whatever walk of life you're ending up in.
Yeah.
And then even greater than that, you can help direct yourself to stay in the good over time, you know, and you know, that's all I could ever ask for any of my friends.
Still staying gassed up.
Absolutely.
For me, the hardest lessons hit home when I fail at it. You know, like I'll never learn something better than actually fucking it up and then being like, okay, I'm not doing that again.
Exactly, dude.
You know, like people can tell me all day. I'm a pretty good listener and like, you know, try to be empathetic.
Yeah.
So like sometimes that will stick, but a lot of times it's like I have to experience it myself and fuck it up in order really for it to stick.
And that's something that me and Marco talk about all the time too. It's like, at least in you know, when it comes down to like business or anything that you're trying to promote or get behind, you know, it's like you keeping like kind of like a subconscious track record of like what hits and what's a miss.
Yeah.
And you know, it's tough not to get bogged down by misses that you thought were the right look, but you can't, dude. You have to stay looking forward and live for those hits and push yourself to where you're going to be in the right position to take those hits. And
It's kind of like the same concept like with music. Like we're both musicians. Like when you make a badass song, like you're in your zone and it sounds just right. You have everything sounding just the way it needs to be after it's mastered and everything. You love it. You show somebody like, this is dog shit, bro. And you're like, fuck, man, I just put like my heart into all this.
Right.
And just get shitted all over me.
It's tough, man.
It's
Everybody's a
very
critic.
tough.
Everybody's
Because-
a critic.
Exactly, man.
And then you have to balance it out. It's like, in that,
It's
it goes
especially
down
hard
a
with
lot
something
of,
like that because you do need people to like it and listen to it.
right.
So
You
it's-
can have incredibly incredibly quality content, and at the end of the day, we're chasing an audience, right?
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
like it's appeasing to yourself, but it's, you know, you've got to live for, you know, you can't pay yourself is what I say about it. You know, like,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can, but you essentially
Someone needs to
you've
pay you
got to
at some
be
point.
Yeah.
right, or your entity, business entity, whatever. You get what I'm saying.
Mhm.
That's like the fine line of giving a shit what people think, but then still putting out what you believe in.
Yeah.
And,
Right.
you know, satisfying yourself.
I've definitely have found myself in a position now, like spiritually and everything, to where like I feel so good about what I'm doing and that what I'm putting out in this world and the path that I'm on, that nothing can like stop me or hinder me from doing that, because I'm already in it. Like there's no going back kind of thing, you know?
Man, I'm glad to
it's
hear
just-
that, dude, because ever since I've ever known you, dude, you've always been a great person, dude.
Thank you, man.
So I'm hoping great things continue to come your way, man.
I try to be a good person as much as possible. Every day I try to be self-critical. Like, man, I shouldn't have said that to that guy at the gas station, or I shouldn't have said that to my wife back. Like, you know, I'm
sure.
always self-critical about like every day, every move,
Yep.
like how to strategically be the best person I could possibly be every day. 1% better every day. And I'm not perfect. I'm no better than you. I'm no better than you. We're all the same. We all bleed blood. But at the end of the day, it's just about what you feel of as a good person, like what you're doing in this world. Is it good or is it bad? You know?
Absolutely.
What do you, going forward, what do you want to do more of with videos? Like, do you want to focus more on the business aspect, the music videos? Where are you trying to be in a couple years?
So I'm still kind of finding my identity on what exactly CamoJames Films is, like what my main subject of what I film. Like when you're starting out filming, you're supposed to film everything you possibly can get your hands on so you have that experience. But when you get to a stage where you're financially, like that's your income, that's your job, like you have a business now and you have clients. So then it comes down to like, okay, like it doesn't really matter about the money. It matters about like, am I interested in really doing this? Because I don't like doing things just for the money. I'm not in it for the money. I'm in it because I have passion behind it, you know? And I want this lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I don't know. I just feel like I just lost my thought there for a second.
Would you ever do a movie?
Yeah. So yeah, I really want to get into like short films and like and movies, man. I love watching a good movie, and like now as a filmmaker, I critique every movie and every show I watch. I'm like,
Right.
oh, this is good. I see how he did this. Oh, he filmed it like this. Okay, I see.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck, man, I want to film this so bad. So, like I said, I'm still finding my identity. I really, really enjoy shooting music videos because of the creative aspect behind it, and I love music. That was my heart, and that's what I'm still, you know, passionate about doing. I like doing promo videos for like new places and stuff like that, because that's also another range of doing creativity work. But I don't know, man. Like weddings are cool. I just don't like the thought of having to do something just for money. I want to do it because I want to do it. So I'm still
Definitely.
kind of finding that range, you know.
What is like generally the most lucrative film genre?
It's promo videos
Yeah,
for businesses.
That's what I figured.
Yeah, the commercial work, because they have the money to be able to do it.
Yeah.
Artists and rappers that are coming up, they are just trying to make it, so they don't have a whole lot of money. They have budgets every time to be able to work with you to create what they're trying to get, and you
Yep.
try to make that as best as possible with the budget they're paying you, because at the end of the day, you still have to value yourself, because you know what you're worth, and it's not an ego thing. It's straight facts of like, you know what you're capable of doing, you know. So that's why you have to price what your value is in life and what you're doing. And that's why I charge for what I charge as of right now with what I'm doing, the certain base price of $350 or $400 or whatever it is.
Okay.
That seems like a reasonable starting point.
Yeah, for a
man.
music video. And then like
That's
for promo
super
videos,
reasonable.
it's usually around like the same price if they're like locally, or like 30 minutes to a minute long, because it's not a long time frame and it doesn't take a lot to edit, you know? But like big promotion work and then weddings, that's a lot of money.
So you were saying with the recent video you did for Nino that it took you a day to put together, to film and direct, but then it took you...
So the crazy thing behind that story is, bro, we planned a month and ahead. So I always plan like a month and ahead. Like I was saying earlier with clients, so I always have work ahead of me to book up, so that I'm always having work as my job. So we booked this video and he had a feature with this other song, and the song was called Numb. So we planned for the day, and then it didn't happen. He had to push it for the next week, and then it didn't happen. I'm like, look, bro, you already paid me a deposit. Do you have another song that we can use that's something that's like really good that I fuck with, that everyone else is gonna fuck with, that we can actually create something dope for some good content? He's like, yeah. He sent me it, and it was the song called Wild. I was like, all right, let's go do this right now. So I pulled up to his house the next day, and I was like, all right. I vibed out his apartment. I was like, all right, we can shoot this. And then, all right, what do you have around here and around this place where you live at? Oh, we got downtown Rockford. We got the cityscape. I was like, cool, bet. We're going to shoot this and shoot that. I knocked the scenes out. And then the whole time when you're filming, when you're listening to a song, the way I do it at least is I imagine what the video is going to look like projected in my head while I'm listening to it.
Definitely.
So it's like I already know the future of what that video is going to look like. And then at the end, I create that and it comes to life. And that's like one of the best feelings ever. So yeah, that video actually came out to where we were supposed to film for something else. We ended up filming for Wild, and it came out to a wild ass video. So it actually worked out.
Nice, man.
Yeah, man. One day filming and by myself, and it took 2 weeks to edit.
That was the video that from Nino that hasn't been released yet?
Yep.
Okay.
Wild.
Yeah, no, that one was sitting amazing, man, with all the sky replacements.
Yeah. And
Just really
obviously
everything.
You edit all the video portion, but you actually mix and master the audio or the music as well.
So the clients usually, the song is already done. It's mastered. Sometimes it's already out on like a platform.
Just doing the video.
So it's already mastered. I just bring it into my software, and it doesn't like dissipate the quality or anything like that, because like my software, the way it renders, it doesn't do that. So
right,
anyways,
pretty much
I get the
audio
master
file
of the song, and then I do my magic with the library of everything that I have filmed, and then I just like, okay, like this is how I wanted this, and I start puzzling and laying a foundation of all the clips that I want. And then after I have a foundation made, then I go and I start adding the effects and start doing the cool shit to it. And then after everything's done, that's when I go and I add sound design. So shout out to Epidemic Sounds for always hooking me up with some good sound design and background music and shit like that. So they're great.
Oh, okay. So that's for kind of like promo videos and stuff like that?
It's a subscription service that you pay for to be able to copyright and freely use their music that they have on that software. And it's a website, but you can download anything unlimitedly as long as you pay for your subscription, and it's monetized to where it copyrights, you're not going to get flagged or anything like that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you pay for like the pro package to where like you're good for everything.
So then the creators that put their content on what was the name of the platform?
Epidemic Sounds.
Epidemic Sounds.
Yeah.
So then they get paid from Epidemic Sounds.
What do you mean?
Like let's say like me and Hef put a song on there, and then you used it in a video, like we would get paid from them, but like it's good for you to use because it's
so you could put your music on and they can use that, and someone can use that for like a commercial or something.
Word.
Yeah, you would get paid for that.
I gotcha.
Yeah, that's how that works.
Cool. Yeah, that's insightful too, because that's something that I know I could definitely use for I mean, like I've just been trying to get my chops up on video stuff as well, doing like, just general deal shots for the shops, for the vapor shops, stuff like that. So that definitely brings it to a new level. Sound
design is like another key element too when it comes to really good video production. Lighting is one, and then sound design, because you can watch a video and if it doesn't have any sound, you're not interested.
Right.
Sound is what brings it to life. So you got audio, and then you have sound design. So sound design is like anything from transition sounds or like any sound that you could think of, but then you master that and you tweak it, you do certain things with it, with like engineering it to where it has reverb or like echo, or you're boosting it with the limiter or something like that. You're creating that sound and you're layering it to create certain sounds together to create that actual ending result sound that you actually want. So like if a car door shuts, you have to time that up where like the car door shuts, but that sound that you actually filmed is not there. You're putting that sound in there. So it brings it to life.
Gotcha.
You have full control of that sound.
Gotcha.
Versus taking the audio from that sound when you're filming, which is not wrong, but I like to add the sound in.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense.
You do produce, mix, and master music as well, right?
Yeah, man. So that's how I started with all this filming, as I was an artist for many years and produced and engineered all my own music, wrote all my own music. and put out a couple projects, a couple of music videos, and then I just branched out into filming, and I just fell in love with it. And I knew that I could make a living, and a sustainable living that have passion behind what I'm doing versus just clocking in and going to work. You know, I love what I'm doing. I don't even call it work.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it's like a dope hobby.
Yeah, man. So that's what I've been up to the last 2 years, man. Just filming and editing and creating content, building my portfolio and a name for myself.
And your kind of niche with music is like rap genre generally, right?
Yeah, so like my sound is like rap, alternative, kind of R&B. Yeah.
Okay. But like if you can do any kind of like rock, anything across the board, I'm sure.
Yeah, man. I love all kinds of music.
What was the video you put out that was filmed in like downtown Rockton like a few years ago?
So that was like one of my first songs I recorded when I came back from New York. It was called Vent. And actually my brother-in-law filmed that with a GoPro on a Karma gimbal.
Oh, nice.
And I edited it and put it together, and we shot that also with a drone.
I thought that came out pretty crispy, man.
It's cringy, man, when I watch it now.
When you look back on anything, right?
Yeah,
when I put it out, I was like, man, this is fucking sick. This is dope. Like, you know? So yeah, I put that song out, and ever since then I've put out a couple more projects, and like I think 5 or 6 more music videos since then that have actually been filmed and edited by me, and then other people who are with me doing like my filming and stuff for me. But yeah, man, I wish I can do more music, but the balance of life as of right now, I just don't have the time for it. It's been just still working a part-time, being a dad, and then working on my business, CamoJames Films.
Understandable,
You
man.
have like a music group yourself as well, right? Is that like you guys just rap and put stuff out?
No, I don't have a music group.
Well, like you rap, right?
Yeah, I do.
And so it's like you just do an individual, you rap, and Keith raps individually, or you guys like get together and
Are you
collab?
talking about creating like a song?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like how that works is like we will be sitting down together and we'll like go through beats or instrumentals. So we'll find something that like vibes with us. Like, okay, we have something we can like talk about and like vibe with, and like a certain melody, a certain way that you can flow, you know? So we'll get that, and then we'll just start freestyling, coming up with some melodies and some like the way that we can like do like the harmony, and like then after that you just start freestyling and doing like the verses and shit like that and some hooks, and then next thing you know, you start recording and you put it together and you piece it together and you do all the engineering work, and you got a song at the end of the day.
Sick.
Yeah, man, it's a fun process. I love making music, bro. There's a special key to it of knowing how to do it the proper way, to where it sounds good to the ear, you know?
Absolutely. Like, it's kind of like you can't hear, I mean, at least from my takeaway from doing stuff, it's almost like you have to do it. Like, you can watch some videos about people doing it and it's helpful, but it's way better to have it on like your own audio system and your own tracks, and to actually like hear something that's not compressed enough, and then like when you get it compressed enough, you're like, okay, this is where it should be, where, and then you just learn, you kind of train your ears accordingly.
Yeah, man.
In any aspect, whether it's instrumental or vocal, collaboration stuff, whatever, you know.
Well, your voice is an instrument.
Absolutely.
When you're using it, you're speaking into a mic like we are right now.
Yep.
And the frequency and tones of your voice is what's picking up, and that's what you hear. So like when you tweak it and you mess with it and then you layer it just properly, and then you learn how to like harmonize and you layer vocals, it becomes something else.
Right.
It's very orgasmic to the ears in a way. It's really weird.
Oh yeah.
How that happens.
Yeah, sound is
certain
incredible,
harmony,
man.
you know?
Music is incredible. Such a unique earthly experience with all of our air and sound waves, and yeah, it's so human, but not, you know, because it's organized by time.
Yeah, when you finish the song and like you put it out and like you listen to it like a few months later, it's like, fuck, like this is actually really good. Like this sounds completely different from when you first heard it, because when you're doing all of the back end work of the engineering and like when I'm editing videos and stuff, I'm listening to that same fucking thing on loop thousands of times.
Yep.
So when I get done the video, I don't want to see that video for like a week. And then I'll watch it again and be like, wow, this is really cool.
Yep. You've got to kind of like refresh or reset your mind a little bit.
Yeah. And with the ears when you're doing music. Like, you have to take that break. Like when you've been sitting there and you're recording for hours and hours and hours. You're trying to get that sound just right.
For hours.
Take a 15-minute break, step out, come back, retune your ears, and you're good to go.
Yep. That's how I kind of think about like from when I'm getting into mixing and stuff. Like some days, like I just try and improve it a little bit, and then other days I'm more just ready to like come into the project that's mostly there,
Yeah.
and then you can fine tune it a little bit more.
Like a preset setup. That's usually how I work off of. So I always have like a preset set up for whatever the vibe of that beat is. Like if it's like an R&B or like a slow beat or like an alternative or something that's preset to whatever I want my vocals to sound like. Not that I'm changing it to make me sound like way different from what I actually do sound like. It's just correcting it in a way to where it sounds really pleasing to the ear. You know? It's being artistic, building sound with your vocals and
Right.
learning how to use the tools inside that software that you're using to create a song.
Absolutely.
What do you think about auto-tune? Auto-tune, right?
Yeah, so there's a bunch of different steps. There's auto-tune, there's pitch correction, there's different like melodic corrections and voice boxes and stuff like that, vox boxes. But I don't know, man. This music these days, it's here and go. A lot of it sounds the same. A lot of it's oversaturated and overplayed and repetitive. And
Very repetitive.
yeah, there's some catchy stuff, but most of it you just vibe off the beat. You don't really vibe off what people are saying anymore. Unfortunately, that's just the way society has gone in the route with music nowadays.
So do you use auto-tune?
No, I don't use auto-tune. I use pitch correction. It's already built into Logic Pro X, so it just depends on what you're trying to do with your vocal. Like if you're doing a rap or something, you're not going to really use any pitch correction. You're going to have a straight dry vocal with like a lot of compression. You're going to have a limiter, de-esser,
Yep.
a limiter reverb, maybe a bus on there. But
Is the pitch correction?
pitch correction comes in like when you're doing like choruses and like melodic harmonies and like the background vocals and stuff like that.
Is that like the more manual version of auto-tune?
They're just different things. It's doing different things to your vocal. So auto-tune is like you're auto-tuning your voice. You're making it sound completely different with whatever pitch you want it to sound. That's going to be reflecting off whatever the key is of that beat. You have to be in the same key with your vocal.
Right. So it's pretty much just matching
Yeah,
that key.
but pitch correction it's not really auto-tune. All it does is it enhances your vocal in the certain keys and like the certain pitch that you're hitting in certain spots. Like if you want to have something that sounds like really melodic and really bright but really soft at the same time, you're gonna have like a different pitch correction set up to where like it's a little laggy. And I mean, you don't understand like if you're an engineer, but it comes down to what you want it to sound like. Like, you know.
And then subtitles. What do you think about like subtitles on like music videos or like having the lyrics in the video?
I think they're dope it just depends on like what the music video is and like what they're talking about or whatever. Like I've seen a lot of artists do that in like different languages, which is pretty cool. But I don't know. I can't really hear shit anymore over the years from doing music for so long. So I watch TV with subtitles and it's changed my life.
Yeah.
So sure. I like subtitles.
Yeah. I find a lot of times, like, especially on social media, they draw you into a video. Like,
yeah, like
if you're just
scrolling.
Yep. Or like, you know, if you're like, let's say you're waiting in line someplace and you're kind of like, well, shit.
I'm a shitter, man.
Right.
Scroll right here.
And then, so it's helpful, I think, as well.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of pulls you in. But like for like a hardcore or like not even a hardcore, I don't know why I said that. Just like a general music video, I feel like it's not necessary because it's music and you know, it's meant to be more like an experience, maybe a musical experience than like you know, like a promotional video, I guess.
It just adds like an aesthetic kind of effect on it, you know. That kind of thing.
Okay.
So how about you guys? What have you been up to other than the Sham Show and working at Marco's?
Oh boy.
Vape shop stuff. I've taken a pretty big step back like the last year especially.
Yeah.
Because we have great employees, great managers. So we got like managers at each location, really good employees under them, and then we have like Knox, who's kind of like store manager, and then we have Kurt, it's kind of like a district manager. So by the time anything gets to me, it's like has to be like something's really fucked up.
Yeah, like a truly executive decision.
Yeah.
So you basically have set yourself up in this light to now in the position where you are at currently. You don't really have to do any of the hard work. Not hard work, but
Yeah.
like the work.
Yeah. So like the stuff that I actually
cool.
do is like largely thanks.
Respectfully cool.
Thank you.
Took a long time, man. Took a
It
long
did.
time.
Yeah, like all these years. But a lot of it's like marketing, because I still really like marketing, and I want to make sure that product, like I have an eye on that. And then like advocacy, like anything politics related that like we have to deal with, like mostly marketing and advocacy.
So what is your thoughts on vaping? I've seen you post a lot of shit about like the health benefits or like people with cigarette campaign ads and stuff like that. What do you think generally about vaping? About like not only health, but like just for what it is?
It's a better alternative, like between 95 and probably 98% better for you.
Yeah.
Like there's going to be some health risks with anything that you're smoking or vaping.
Of course, put into your body.
Yeah.
Right. Generally, I think of it as a tool to help people it's as a tobacco harm reduction tool.
Yeah, so it's meant to help people quit smoking, so I don't necessarily suggest that if you've never smoked to start vaping, unless like you just want to. And like Kurt and I actually just started vaping. We never smoked before we vaped.
Yeah.
And then people all the time are like, well, why'd you start vaping? And then I'll be like, well, why'd you start smoking?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because I like nicotine and blowing clouds, bro.
Yeah,
Right,
it's
like,
cool.
I
I'll blow
just-
some O's, bro.
Yeah.
Thought it was a better alternative right out the gate.
And we've helped like definitely thousands of people get off of cigarettes. We have like over 10,000 customers, but of people who like went from cigarettes to vaping, vast majority of those, so I don't know, many thousands, and repeatedly every time everyone comes back saying, you know, if they stick with it, that they can breathe better, they're not hacking shit up, they have a higher endurance. Like I've had a dude tell me that he could have sex longer. I've had a dude tell me that he was like in a church choir and could sing longer. Like these are like physical things that you can definitely see.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not wheezing when I go up the steps type shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, like in general, I truly believe in it as a technology in terms of the value that it has to society. You know, when you look at, of course, we're pretty balls deep in the stuff. So like, you know, when you hear about it's thousands of people a day that are dying from tobacco related illnesses, and then, you know, ever since I was a kid, I thought, you know, it just doesn't make sense. Why would people smoke? So when I realized that there was this better alternative, which it didn't take me long to realize there was a better alternative, it was kind of a no-brainer to at least endorse and get behind and recommend for people that were smokers to make an improvement in their lives. So that's been a cornerstone of, you know, how the business came to be and why it came to be, really.
Yeah.
It's all set out in terms of trying to make the most of it and offer people options to have safer alternatives, which is something that I'll never stop advocating for.
That's cool, man.
And then obviously we're interrupting like a lot of big industries, like big tobacco or big pharmaceutical. And then like that goes along with the government because they get tax money from cigarette packs, and mainstream media is of course thrown in there with it. So like an example of that is like a year and a half ago, there was that E-Valley outbreak, which was like the kids that were vaping and then they were like dying from vaping related complications. So like we knew all along they weren't getting the shit from vape shops. It was the THC cartridges that people would make in their basement that like they put a different they cut it basically with like a bad thinner, probably like vitamin E acetate. So like that was the cause of it. But for like a month or two, we just got railed by the media to the point where like they used footage of my vape shop when they were like coming out with the news story on one of the channels.
What?
Yeah, it was like previous footage they had taken, and they like put that in their like vaping is killing kids story. And these are like people that we advertise with, so we stopped advertising with them for a while.
Wow.
And like since then they came out with the findings that it was like illegal THC cartridges, and they never came out to correct that. They're never like,
Of course not.
yeah, oh, you know, my bad, we were wrong.
Yep,
it has nothing to do with vape
It's just
shops.
bad news selling, man. Like that's all like the last whole year's been, you know, Corona this, Corona that, and
I'm so sick of Corona, bro.
Yeah.
same.
The masks don't make no sense to me. Why do we still have to wear a mask when apparently most people have the vaccine? And so it ran through. We have herd immunity. It's the basic of regular getting the flu. Like, I don't know anybody who's died from it. My wife got it. We smoked the same shit. I never got it. So it's really weird.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know.
There's a lot of weirdness to it. My least favorite part was like how state per state the governors were coming out and saying businesses were essential or non-essential, just based on what they thought.
Yeah, what do you deem essential? Like how everybody's essential. We all have to work and make a living.
Exactly. Yeah.
Employment
money is essential.
Yeah,
especially screwed on that. Like they made us literally close both all the shops for the entire month of April last year. Like this lady drove through the McChesney drive-through and spoke to our manager through bulletproof glass that we had to close. Like, are you kidding me? We really like we couldn't even do drive-through service or curbside service.
And this was before.
But meanwhile, you could walk into Walmart with no mask.
Oh no!
Yeah, this was before a mask mandate. You can go into Baskin Robbins, you can go into a Subway, and just like get your shit face to face. We couldn't use a drive-through. We couldn't even deliver, and like everyone is getting shit shipped to them.
Right, like literally all we could do was ship stuff online. Yeah. It was crazy, bro. So I think that there was a lot of room for government overreach, which we certainly experienced, I would definitely say. Yeah. And then, that ties in a lot with some of the insights that we've seen in the vapor industry, like how it's like anybody can say that the government is corrupt or these guys are corrupt, but like seeing it firsthand and how directly influenced by money that these entities that are, whether it's the FDA, whether it's state governments, local governments, it's never been so apparent because, the research is there. At first they were saying, oh, we don't know if it's safer or not. And then, you have some of the best universities in the world supporting it and putting down irrefutable facts. And it's still not really endorsed. Then it goes to, oh, well, what about the kids? What about the kids? And then it's just like this never-ending loophole of illogical bullshit that you're never going to win at. It's just doing the most that you can to preserve our freedoms and options to provide safer alternatives. And, that we're just one industry, man. They can do the same shit to anything.
But one of the things I like to say on the COVID talk is not once did I ever see anything about like how to improve your health through this pandemic, what you can do to make yourself
more immune
more immune and less vulnerable to getting sick, and what you can do to eat properly or exercise or whatever the case may be. It's all wear a mask, stay inside, blah 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 bullshit. Yeah, it's like that's not gonna do anything. Like
yeah, and even now it's like in this weird space where like these places are reopening and trying to be pro-business, but then there's that counter side of like what you said, like stay inside and wear a mask, and it doesn't make any fucking sense.
What do you guys think of people when you're driving and you see someone in their car by themselves wearing a mask?
Yeah,
like, you know what you should do right now? You should just pull the ejector seat and then just go flying out because you might as well end yourself now.
No shit, bro. I saw a dude on a motorcycle like that. I was like, bro, a motorcycle?
I don't know. Some people get carried away. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not trying to be, so biased about it. But
right.
It's like,
for me, with the mask stuff, it's like I don't have any problem with anybody wearing a mask basically ever unless you're robbing a bank. So if you want to protect yourself, cool, man. Totally understand with people that are immunocompromised or older, anybody,
Yeah, like my father, for instance, he beginning of 2020, like when COVID hit, he got diagnosed stage 4 cancer. And so all throughout the whole pandemic, he couldn't really go anywhere at all. And he's still technically like not ever going anywhere besides going to doctors for checkups.
Wow.
And shit like that. And he's just battling. He's just in it deep. And to see your own father deteriorate in front of your eyes 10 years in 1 year, it's like, what the fuck?
Man, I can't imagine.
You realize how fragile this life is.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's just weird with the whole COVID thing because I couldn't really visit him a lot because I had to wear a mask. Every time I saw him, I had to wear a mask, and I was kind of really against the mask, so I was tired of it, so I couldn't really see him. But anyways, it's just like if you got sick or something with COVID, that'd be the end of it because his immune system is whole shut down and trying to fight off cancer. And
Right. Like, I
it's just
definitely
sad.
am for protecting people, or I guess I would say more so people protecting themselves. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to wear a mask, that's cool, but don't make everybody do it, because I know that if I got it or you got it or he got it, it's a fucking joke. Like, I'll be fine.
Do you
Like,
remember when
in
we were growing
any
up?
likelihood.
I remember when we were growing up, there was obviously chickenpox has always been around, but there's like mono and strep throat.
Yep.
When that shit was hitting, I didn't see no one shutting that down. When I got
Yep.
like mono and like strep throat, I was sicker than dogs, like just fucked up. But they still sent you back to school. They didn't make you quarantine and all this stupid shit. Like, kids at school are sick. If you come in sick, oh, I'm not feeling well today. Oh, okay. Just like wash your hands. Like, and now all of a sudden we have to wear a mask and all this mandated bullshit. Like, I get it. We should be more like sanitary about certain things in a certain way, because we all have germs. Well, what germs are important because that's what builds your immune system. If you don't ever go around germs, you're just gonna get sick when one little germ hits you.
It should have been more about telling the people who are immune compromised to stay home rather than everyone, and shutting the whole fucking world down.
Yeah, it's just
Definitely.
I don't know, man. It's just a weird time that we're living in, that we're experiencing that we've never experienced before. And it's honestly, like, it's not that I don't believe it, it's just that I don't know, man. There's something weird about it. It
seems like it's been very manipulated.
Yeah, drawn out into a way that it's just not necessary, making people lose their businesses. And making people get to a point where they have to shoot somebody else for $5 because they lost their business. Like, shit like that. It's a domino effect.
Shit became way too political.
Yeah,
it was very, very political.
Really quick.
Yeah.
But I think at the end of the day, in all hindsight, that things are going to be going in a more positive way. People are like us, not woke, but like who generally have a good understanding about life and about what it takes to be a good person and to have a good society. That group of people are going to be pushing more forward versus the people who just want to hurt others. You know?
Yep. That's the silver lining of it all, I think.
That's a recycle of life. There's always destruction, rebuild, and then live, prosperity, and then it just crumbles again, and then it's just a cycle. That's how it works. I'm living in that decrumble part right now.
Absolutely, man.
On that note, I think we'll probably wrap up.
Yeah, man, we've been at it for a cool minute, and I think we touched on some pretty awesome stuff. Cameron, did you have anything else you want to rip?
What's your thoughts on aliens, guys?
Oh boy, real quick, we got
always time for this motherfucker.
They're there.
What's your thoughts?
For sure, other life has to exist.
Yeah,
for sure.
Did you ever listen to the Bob Lazar documentary or the podcast?
I saw some of that. Yeah.
After listening to that many times, over and over, under the influence, you take it in for a little grain of salt, right? So it's like, wow, this shit. Anything is possible. It's like there's always been an inkling in the back of my mind that there's got to be much more than what we are right here, what we've been told our whole lives. Like, there's no fucking way that we're the only little ball spinning at 20,000 miles an hour around this planet or whatever the fuck.
In this infinite universe.
Yeah, that never ends.
Yeah, infinite, bro.
Infinite.
So what was like Bob Lazar's conclusion on stuff? Because I think I watched most of the episode he had with Rogan.
I don't really think the guy is full of shit. Just by listening to him a few times, he seems really really persistent on his story and sticking with it, not changing it, and he seems really serious and he's fucking smart. Like, if you listen to him, he's smart, man.
What was kind of like the overview? Like,
he just worked in a secret place of Area S4 to where he worked on the flying saucer for a period of time to where he got to experience that. And
so he was like in with the government working on like
something like that,
undercover stuff or something.
I'm not really sure. I just know he was some sort of nuclear engineer type guy who was working on. He's a physicist who was working on trying to back engineer the components of the flying craft.
Oh, so they had there was a craft that crashed or something like that, and they were studying it.
Supposedly there's like multiple crafts that they have in certain secret areas that I don't know about, but he worked on one of them apparently, and it just seems really really truthful about it.
Yeah,
I just think
that one is tough for me because it's like I wouldn't be surprised if there's some human interaction with other aliens, and why agencies in power would keep that quiet. Makes sense because people freak the fuck out over anything. You know, they're
Yeah.
freaking out over COVID. Imagine knowing that there's an alien race that can zap us like a bug, you know, or whatever, something crazy like that, which I feel like it would be crazy, you know, just thinking of how technologically advanced some other beings or societies would have to be to interact with us. So, you know, it's harder for me to believe that I definitely believe in alien life. Like, to me, it's not even a question. But the questions definitely lie into like what extent is the overlap, or like are we in communication? Are we gonna be like where's how like I
How
don't know,
tight
that's
are we
where
with the aliens?
that's where the hamster wheel starts turning, right? Like where I'm like,
right,
I
so
wonder
I
if
got-
these people really do be getting abducted.
So
and
I got
shit.
another one for you.
Hit
Where
it.
do you think we came from?
Ooh,
Based-
that's a deep
Not
one.
even religion, just straight. Where do you think we came from? Where do you think we are? And how do you think that we came to where we're at today?
Let her rip, Marco.
Fuck.
I got to follow up.
Because I like to just piece in my thought on it. Us humans, we manipulate shit. We manipulate everything around us to sustain to our lifestyle and to where we live, right? We can genetically do amazing things with the human body that we never thought we could years and years
absolutely.
and years ago. Especially with the brain now, with Elon Musk, with putting the chip in your head and the Neuralink. Yeah. Very, very interesting. So with that being said, if we can do that, what makes you think that something millions of years ago, or however long that time frame has been, did genetically manipulate us with their DNA with lower hominids to create us, so that one day we are the caterpillar that's one day going to bloom into the butterfly to go out and do the same thing? It's a seed of life that keeps recycling.
So where do you think those came from? The earlier man or the earlier life form that
So I haven't even got that far ahead. I just thought about where the fuck we came from.
Oh, dude, that's part of the mystery, right?
Yeah.
I think that humans came from the water, like on Earth, just through certain conditions. Something
Yeah.
came together and continued to evolve from there. But before that, dude, like, honestly, man, I don't really buy too much into the Big Bang Theory, or like the origin of the universe is profound to me. Like, basically unanswerable.
But we're fragments of the universe. If
We
you think
are.
about it, because what that topic you're saying with we came from the water. Well, why do you think we have this type of skin? When it gets wet, what happens to this type of skin? It inflates up and it becomes more malleable to where you can grip things better.
Yeah.
You get your hand wet out of the shower, you can grab things, right?
Yeah.
When your hands aren't like that, you can't really grab things.
Yeah.
Pruning.
Yeah, pruning.
Yeah.
Definitely.
There is a theory that like we came from Mars, and like there was like a nuclear holocaust of some sort. Like we basically fucked Mars up, like we're slowly doing in this Earth, and moved here. And one of like the pieces of evidence for that is that like we're not meant to walk upright, because no other species or mammal walks upright, and that's why we have all these back problems, because of the difference of gravity between like Mars or another planet and Earth. So like there's a few other points of, you know, evidence or things to question that I could actually see that like we came from another planet entirely, like, fucked up that planet somehow, and then just ended up on Earth.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
No, that's hard to say, man. That falls into
Bob
the
Lazar
realm
knows.
of things that like me and basically anybody I've ever heard from, or anybody I know of, is just not prepared to answer it. You know, like the origin of the universe, man, that's...
The Big Bang thing seems a little preposterous, but like that wouldn't be a theory unless
there was some scientific evidence for it, for sure.
I mean, like, we are so malleable though, because like, for instance, when I was 15 years old, I had a traumatic brain injury at the skate park. Smashed the whole right side of my fucking face on concrete from like 10 feet in the air, and my right eye socket shattered, and pieces of that bone went into my brain. That's why I have this scar that goes from here
Hot
all
damn,
to
bro.
here. So I had a brain surgery. I had all that shit fucked with and manipulated and whatever, you know? So for many, many years after that, I wasn't necessarily normal. So I had to like rebuild myself back up, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, if that's possible and stuff like that, when you almost died, you come back from it and you realize like how fragile life is and then like what your body is capable of doing, and then once you get your brain tampered with, you can still be somewhat normal and okay.
Yeah, dude. Who knows what the
Who
fuck's
fucking
possible?
knows, man?
Who found you? Were you
I was at Skateworks, man. I was biking early in the morning and was doing a couple runs, and I just switched to riding brakeless at the time, no helmet, and was trying to transfer going from one quarter to another, and then I didn't calculate the move properly, and the top of my wheel caught the top of the coping and slingshot me straight to my face.
And like concrete.
Yeah, right on concrete.
And then like
So broke my nose, shattered the right side of my face.
Was there like workers there that found you or something?
No, the other kids skating. I went unconscious when it happened, but I woke up and like my blood from my nose being broken, and then like sat on top of the ramp trying to like reassess like what the fuck just happened, and I was like playing it back like, okay, yeah, I just like almost died. So I didn't really think much of it at the time when it happened. I thought, oh, I just concussion, shake it off. So I just sat down for a little bit. And then a friend of mine showed up, and his dad was there, and my mom's was really good friends with his dad. So I'm like, he's like, you don't look good, bro. Like my eyes swelled up within like 5 minutes, like a balloon, and I just felt like really nauseous and like something wasn't right. So I had him call my mom, and she came and got me, and then drove to my aunt's house for some other reason, I don't know why, but I drove the opposite way to my aunt's house to like see if I'm okay. But then like looked at me and like, no, you're not okay. So then my mom drove me to the emergency room at St. Anthony's, and it was just kind of like a blurb, in and out consciousness, kind of like a movie, and then like the shock value of throwing up and stuff. And then yeah, man, I was literally on my deathbed for that shit. Went in there and I had to get like CT scans and all that stuff, and I was in the worst pain I've ever felt in my life. I thought I was dying because it was like this. It felt like someone was like splitting my head with a jackhammer and lighting it on fire at the same time. Damn. Yeah, and my face too, because like smashing on concrete.
Oh yeah.
But anyways, yeah. So I had to have immediate brain surgery like the day after, and they fixed me up, and I was in special care for like I think a week or something like that, and was let go and was out for a while, man. I like lost my sense of smell for a while, and like my right eye is still not the same. Like it still kind of droops a little bit from just being smashed. But you couldn't really tell just looking at me. But like when I take pictures and selfies, I look at it, I'm like, like my eye looks fucked. Damn it! Gotta get my good eye, you know. But no, I'm just fucking lucky, man. Life is a trip, and that's why I am the way I am today, because I've had these experiences and I've realized what we are capable of doing in this life, and we only live one life. So I always want to make sure I'm living my shit to the fullest, having the most fun I possibly can, and not letting anything negative or any other people that are negative affect me.
Yeah.
And that's what I've been on for years, man.
Shit like that will make you really fucking grateful. You know,
Yeah.
I've never had like a near death experience, but I could only imagine, you know.
Yeah, it's an eye opener, bro. It really is. Because once you have something like that happen to you, like you're not Superman. You can't just like run around and jump off and do crazy shit like you normally do when you're a kid or whatever, and then something happens to you. Like, wow, like
you gotta have that reality.
I could actually die.
I could die right now.
Yeah.
Like, you know. So yeah, man, I'm very thankful, and I still continue to BMX and ride after many years after that, and I got older and had jobs and responsibilities, so that kind of fell off. But I still enjoy riding here and there, and I still skate here and there when I can.
Absolutely, man.
You wear a helmet now?
Nah. No helmets, bro. No helmets, bro.
No helmets, no brakes.
Nah, dude. Fuck it. Send it, dude.
Send it. That's a life motto right there.
Yeah, man. So yeah, best advice to anybody, just send it, have a good time.
Love it, man. Love the attitude and your takeaways from your life experiences, man.
Yeah.
So genuine, dude.
I appreciate you guys having me on today. I really do appreciate it. To give me the platform to build, get myself out there, have some people look at me and have a good ass conversation with you guys, and just sit down and talk some shit. Serious shit too.
Oh, I love it, man.
My favorite thing I think about the Sham Show is what's going to come in the future, that we can look at this video in 5 years and you're going to be fucking in LA or something like that. And you're like, yo,
yep.
Like, this is where it was.
I mean, that's what happens, bro. That's just the way life goes. But I don't know, man. Anything could happen.
Yeah.
You know? Anything could happen, bro.
Yeah. it's cool to document our thoughts now, you know, and then we'll see where
100%.
we change.
I've always been really intrigued on sitting down and having a podcast and sitting down and actually like recording conversation, because this is a lost art that normally people don't do anymore because they're on their phones or they're too busy and shit. So sitting down and just having a conversation, it's fucking dope, man. Yeah, it's a lost art for sure.
Hell yeah,
I enjoyed the shit out of it.
Oh, absolutely, man.
Thanks for being on. You should plug all your stuff, your future projects.
Of course. So CamoJames on all major platforms, Facebook, IG, at CamoJames, and then CamoRose Films, CamoRoseFilms.com, and then my YouTube channel at CamoRose Films. So make sure you check out all my content. I always got hella work. Stay consistent, dropping shit every week.
Do it.
Vibes.
Some quality stuff, folks.
Yeah, man. It's been real, guys.
I love it, man.
Thanks for coming, bro.
Boy, brother. It's a wrap.